about the art of diplomacy and deal making. Trump-Gaza's peace plan can be one of the best examples. It's interesting to know how Trump's Gaza's peace plan changed the conversation from a statehood to just a survival. After October 7th terrorist attack and in the years leading up to 2025, momentum for Palestinian statehood was quietly building. Arab nations, African blocs, and even some European governments were moving towards recognizing the Palestinian state within the 1967 borders. For the first time in a decade, the political environment and climate looked and sounds ready for diplomacy to progress. Then Trump came. With his new Gaza peace plan announced right after 2025 United Nations General Assembly in New York, Trump didn't just propose a deal. He actually redefined a new conversation. Okay, now the question is, what this plan is about? This plan on the paper actually, or what it should be at the end, is to ending the war, release the hostages, rebuilding the Gaza, and moving towards a peace. What is not clear in this plan is the final path of the Palestinian state, their border, and also the capital of this possible state. Will the East Jerusalem will be their capital or not? This is not something that they were seeking for that for several years. On the other hand, there is a clear talk and conversation about demilitarization of the Gaza, especially the Hamas, and a peace process running by the foreign force. And another question, what different parties will get from this deal? The Gaza will become a de-radicalized zone, and international helps will come to rebuild Gaza and support the people that will be able someday to create their own government or their own state, actually someday. And what President Trump will get from this deal? He can present himself as a great deal maker, which if this plan goes through, he will be really the great deal maker that can end the war which was continuing for a decade. He surrounded himself with the faces like Jared Kushner and with the Tony Blair to create a board of the peace, which we call it, or this deal called that, promising to fix the things for a good. On the other hand, this plan will give almost everything that Israelis were seeking for. They will get back all their hostages. They will keep their security and military control over the Gaza, and most importantly, it will eliminate the Hamas politically. But what's the most important to understand in this plan is that this plan will freeze the international movement of recognizing the Palestine as an independent state until someday that Israel will agree with that, which may not happen. On the other hand, this plan will support the Arab nations, from Egypt to the Persian Gulf Arab nations, to change the conversation from creating the Palestinian state to creating a peace. However, this is not an accident. This is the result of the art of the President Trump's deal making. In his policy, there are two sides, allies and enemies, winners and losers. However, if you go deep and look deeper in this plan, you can understand that in this plan, almost everyone they're going to win. Even the Gaza's people, they're going to have a developed zone, even if it's not the state, but at least it's a developed zone with international support and most importantly, with a peace. And probably that's why the tone of the conversations changed very quickly, even between the world leaders. European diplomats who once spoken about the two-state solution, now they're talking about the stabilization after a peace. Arab nations who tied their normalization of their relation with Israel with independence, Gaza or Palestine state, now they are talking about the investment in a free Gaza zone. Even between the journalists, the vocabulary changed from the liberation, from the state of the Palestine, to the zone, to the supporting, to words like development, different phases, and even the United Nations now they are talking about how they can support and bring more help to the Gaza zone. And as a result, in less than a year, it's interesting to understand in less than a year how the dream of the Palestine free state or independent state changed to the Gaza free zone. So the real question is not whether the Trump Gaza peace plan will end the war or not. It will end the war, especially with this international support that it's already got. Uh, the question is something else. If the Hamas is demilitarized, Israel will keep its control, security and military control over the Gaza, and international force will run the Gaza with international money and support. What kind of the state is left there to be recognized, especially if we know that the talking or the conversation of the Jerusalem is out of the table in all the meeting and the conversations and the deals. The question is not the question. We cannot call it a question. I can say the model that is running in Gaza, it can create a free zone or even a state which is developed, which is the powerful by the economy from the economic side, but it's not powerful by the side of the military. Maybe we will have the neo Qatar in a Gaza, but not calling it a Qatar, we can call it a Gaza. And at the end, Trump's Gaza's peace deal may not create a new Middle East, but at least the Trump's Gaza peace deal created the new narration in this area. The word no longer asks whether the Palestine will be free or not. It asks whether the Palestine will exist as a state or not. And we can say at the end that perhaps it's the most powerful deal that Trump ever made.